Hello, everyone. I want to thank you guys for again coming here for my capstone project, something that is not very like a baby and a parent, like how John was, but mine is more on the little party fun side. So for my capstone, I decided to do a smart bar dispenser for your home. And before I do get started on that presentation, I do want to give a little bit about myself. My name is Rodolfo Parra. People call me Rudy. I'm 25 years old, first gen. I'm also a member of STEM Cohort, just like John. I'm also an All Rise member. I studied computer information systems, concentrating in network administration at Central New Mexico Community College. I have related experiences in the STEM field, which is computer science, networking and systems automations, OS imaging and deployment, engineering, some data analysis. I've worked with solar and space physics, glass physics, and lastly, chemistry. I worked in a couple of labs throughout the country. So that is the National Solar Observatory in Boulder, Colorado, Lockheed Martin, and Baltimore, Maryland, and just recently at University Physics Department in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, where I actually started the process of publishing my own research. So that's just a little bit about me. Now, the journey to making my smart bar was a little interesting because since my background is in networking and system administration, there's a lot of automation that goes into that. And then, of course, during our past projects that we've done here at Deep Dive, it deals with a lot of automation. So the first project that we did was to make like a smart room controller that does a lot of the automations for lights, outlets, things of that nature, as well as the other project, which was the self-watering plant that also deals with automation of self-watering the plant. So I wanted to keep that theme going and stay on the path of automation. Some of the inspirations that I found on is online, you see a bunch of new places popping up in big cities like Las Vegas, LA, and New York, and they have these, state-of-the-art robotic arms of, moving of, robot bars, and it's a nice show that you get to see. And then as well as some products are actually out there already on the market that are at home bar stations, but they can be a bit clunky or, I felt like they needed a little bit of reiteration, and so that was kind of the inspiration behind that. So I began starting to draft up ideas and say, well, how can I make something that is at home, small, compact, and also interchangeable? Maybe you want a different type of drink. Maybe you don't want an alcoholic drink. It's just a drink dispenser. So I wanted to give that option to the consumer and still make it user friendly and something that is already known like a Keurig or a coffee maker. So this was the drawing board that I did and my CAD design. I wanted it to not only dispense and mix the cocktails, but also dispense a condiment with it as well. I've done my research, and some of the products that are on the market already, they can just only make the cocktails and mix them and dispense them. But I've never seen one that actually dispenses a condiment itself. So that's really nice. So if you want, like, say you're making a martini or, a margarita, a lime or an olive will be dispensed with the cocktail of your choice. And so I began the process of laser cutting and constructing the build. I wanted to make sure that all the pieces fit before I actually drill them together or, have them glued together. And some of the hardware that I used for this was a particle photon 2 chip, one OLED screen, one stepper motor, one encoder, one load cell, and four 12-volt pumps, and one four-way relay switch, and one 12-volt power supply. And I'll explain how these are being made further in the presentation. Here is my fitting diagram of all the wiring schematics that had to be implemented in order for the device to work. I was lucky enough that I had, I think, one or two pins left on the actual photons to actually operate this. So I was cutting it really close. So, so now this is a process of me putting everything together. It was really tricky to fit four pumps, a relay switch, and all these motors and tubings and, into a small compact design. It was really tricky. I kind of just did my best to organize each component in there and kind of just stuffed it in there at the end. And then some of the challenges that I found, or the code that I'm proud of, and the challenges that I had to go through with the code, was actually getting to use the use of functions. When I first started this course, and I really wasn't using the functions a lot. And so getting to like pre-make the functions and below and then calling them up again, that was one thing that I really grew as a programmer. And so yeah, so that was one of the parts that I was really proud of the code. So this is the proof of concept. And I really liked how it came out because it uses a scale at the bottom that weighs out the martini glass and it tears it. And as you select your drink with the encoder and you turn it, it'll actually weigh out the liquids that's being poured and then calculates it to determine how much the liquid is being dispensed to make sure that it's the right amount. And then I think I have a video coming up here that expresses that. We'll play that for you guys. So of course, by default, it's displaying the time and date, and the purple light of the encoder is saying that it's ready. You turn the encoder and you select your actual cocktail that you want to make, whether that is a margarita, tequila sunrise, and so forth. And once you fall into the cocktail you want to make, you select encoder, the encoder light turns blue, giving you a sign that it's actually dispensing. At this time, it's calculating all of like the math to see how much it needs to pour, and then eventually dispenses the cocktail. And then here in a minute, you'll see the actual condiment dispenser, the Archimedean screw dispensing the condiment as well. And then after that, the encoder's light will turn green and telling you that the drink is ready, and then back to purple, meaning it's ready to make another cocktail. And then after that, you guys have a nice martini, margarita, your choice of cocktail. So that's pretty fun. And then some future improvements that I do want to do though, since I was under time constraint, I realized that the Archimedean screw only allows one type of condiment. I really want to continue with this project and to develop a new way to add multiple condiments within the device itself, only because as of right now, you can only use one condiment. So if I have olives, you're gonna have a bunch of olives in your cocktails that really don't go together. So I really want to make like a spinning wheel or something that encapsulates and divides the different condiments together, and they can actually decide which is the right condiment to dispense. That is one thing that I do want to continue on. Some of the challenges I had were really tricky and kind of caught me by surprise. Out of all the projects that I've done in this course, I oddly found the encoder was giving me more of a hard time this time, which is really interesting. Just selecting the encoder and turning it and getting it to actually read the click to select which cocktail gave me most of the hard time. Turns out it was just a simple like code error that I had and nothing that was hardware wise. The other challenges that I had was actually making the actual Archimedean screw and the holder that holds all of the condiments. So getting that at the right degrees and the right diameter for the Archimedean screw to fit in, that kind of took some time as well. But other than that, that's one of the two main challenges that I had to face in that aspect. I do want to finish off with this presentation with a quote by Bill Gates, which states, "Technology is just a tool in terms of getting the kids working together, and the teacher is the most important." So I do want to give thanks to Brian, Reshep, and EJ for this because they were so amazing at helping us learn and grow in our knowledge. And honestly, I learned more in the past 2 months than what I did on my other previous labs. And so this is something that I do want to give a shout out to them for that. And yeah, I believe that concludes my presentation. That is my contact information on the screen there.